and welcome to the A.E.F.L's Midseason Breakdown. Yes, I said Midseason Breakdown. No other league does this, just the A.E.F.L. It's why it's the American Elite Fantasy League for a reason. Now, I've worked long and hard on this. I've had some collaboration, some good ideas from other league members, and now I present to you all the information I found, and it's going to blow your minds. Let's start it off by breaking down the league. We're going to take a look at all the records, the points, the averages for each team. Now, might hurt some feelings realizing how bad your team really is, but stay with me. We're going to go over it all right now. Alright guys, first off I gotta apologize though for that picture. Kind of shitty, but you know I'm not a photographer or anything. Just squint your eyes a little bit and I'm sure the numbers will just blend together. Real quick, looking at the top division here, we got Trevor 6-1, Justin 3-4, Adam 3-4, me 3-4, Brandon 2-4-1, Dustin 1-5-1. Then the bottom division, Ethan is 6-1, Jared's 5-2, Ben's 4-3, Tyler is 3-4, Tanner's 3-4, and Will is 2-5. But real quick, the overall record doesn't show everything. If you jump to the next column over, you see the division. Now, why is the division such a big deal? Well, most of our games come within our own division, and seeing how we reward the top 4 teams of each division with making the playoffs, that's where the record really counts. But what's funny is I might be 3-4 overall, but within my division, I'm 3-2. And the same applies for Tanner, as he's 3-4 overall, but yet 3-2 in the division. And then you have a team like Ben, who is 4-3 overall, but yet still 2-3 within the division. So, it's not exactly your overall record that matters, but what you're doing within the division. And speaking of the divisions here, there's a huge contrast between the top division and bottom division. With that said, if you take a real quick look at the points for the top half division has scored a grand total of 4,641 points, while the bottom division's only scored 3,776. That is a difference of 865 points. Not to mention, the points against in the top half division is 4,712, while the bottom half division is only 3,793. That is a difference of 919 points. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Since the top division is putting up more points, you expect to have more points against. But regardless, the toughest division of the league this year is the top half. Not only just putting up more points every week, but also more points against. You got to have your team lineup set, possibly make some trades. Each week, it's a matter of freaking points. Real quick though, looking at the average point scored, Trevor scoring the top in the league with 123 average points. Justin and Ethan are tied with 113. And then, Ben's ahead of them with 117. Then it's Justin and Ethan at 113. 111 is Adam and Tyler. Then close behind is Tanner and I with 110 points average per game. And then you have, let's see here, Will with 105, Dustin 107, and then Brandon with 99, then Jared with 97. So we have 2 teams that aren't even scoring 100 points per game. And then you throw in the fact that Jared is averaging the lowest amount of points in the league and yet has a record of 5-2. If you want to talk about luck, I mean, there's no other way to explain how his record is 5-2. Then you throw in the fact that Brandon, with 2 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie, is averaging 99 points, and yet he has a better record than Dustin. Not by much, but he still does have a better record, and yet he's still averaging 8 points less. It just goes to show that it's all about just not, having the correct lineup, but just who you play. Now, real quick, getting into who you play, we're going to talk real quickly each and every trade, and we're going to break it down in just a matter of moments. Now, guys, like I said, we're going to go over some trades real quick. I'm going to first start off by saying I'm going to ignore the Minnesota Vikings for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, Vikings before this week were ranked 4th in points for defenses, and we're going to trade them for the Ravens that are probably around 12 or 15th in points scored. But I'm going to ignore that because of the fact that both defenses just sucked ass recently. I mean, I forget who just destroyed the Ravens last Sunday, and then the Minnesota Vikings looked awful last night, just absolutely awful, and got Tanner -5 points to start off the week. But anyways, let's not waste any more time. We're going to get to the trades, and right now we're going to view Tanner and Dustin's trade, which involved LeSean McCoy and Cedric Benson for Cam Newton and A.E.F.L. Right now, let's just take a look at the page. Alright, now looking at this page real quick with the trade involving Dustin and Tanner, LeSean McCoy, Cedric Benson for Cam Newton and A.E.F.L. That happened after week 3. Looking at LeSean McCoy's points since then, 16, 17, 17, and then the bye week last week for a total of 15 points. He is now averaging 17 points a game, while Cedric Benson got 14 points, 6 points, and then got injured, and he's now on IR and won't be putting up points the rest of the year. He's only given Dustin 20 points, which ends up averaging over 5 points the last 4 weeks, for a grand total of 22 points a game between the two players, while Tanner received Cam Newton and A.E.F.L. Newton in week 4 put up 30, then 7, then a bye week, and then 15. He is also putting up 17 points per game. Then A.E.F.L., who in week 4 started off with 7 points, and then a bye week in 5, and then 12 and 12. He's averaging 10 points a game. When combine those two players together, Tanner's now getting 27 points per game from both players, while Barr, I don't know where that came from, but Dustin is only getting 22 thanks to the Cedric Benson injury. Now, had Benson not been hurt, do I think that more than likely Dustin would be averaging more points? Absolutely, without a doubt. It wouldn't be by many, but I think overall he'd be getting more points per game. Then if you look real quick down close to the bottom, since week 4, Dustin has now gone 1-3, and before the trade was averaging 108 points, and now after the trade is averaging 106. That's a difference of 2 points. But Tanner, however, has gone 2-2, and what's crazy here is that he's averaged 110 points before the game, or before the trade, and after the trade, which then goes back to the page we viewed earlier where he's averaging 110 points a game. So really, Tanner's kind of getting a little bit better trade-off here, getting more points, but as you can see, points before the trade and after the trade, not much going on. It's pretty much even. Now we're going to get to the trade between Will and Adam for Alfred Morris and Miles Austin. So we ended up having another trade after week 3 involving Will and Adam, where Adam sent Miles Austin to Will, and in exchange Adam received Alfred Morris. Real quick, looking at the week 4, Alfred Morris put up 21, 18, 16, and 22 for a total of 77 points, which then averages out to 19 points per game the last 4 weeks. Will, in return, got Miles Austin, which has put up 15 points, then he had a bye week, and then 5 and 18. That's only 38 points total, but with that bye week averages out to be 13 points per game. That's a difference of 6 points a game. But what's crazy here is if you look at the records, it's exactly what Will needed. He needed another wide receiver. He could afford to give up a running back, and since then, Will has gone 2-2, averaged 119 points after the trade, and then before the trade, though, he was averaging 85. That's a difference of 34 points since the trade. Whether, he's just had a little bit more luck with his players or not, I don't know, but the trade's paying off. He's now 2-2 since the trade, is averaging 34 more points a game, and he's slowly climbing his way back up into the league standings. But Adam, for example, since the trade has gone 1-3, only averaged 110 points, while before the trade was averaging 113. It's only 3 points, but then you throw in the fact that he's gone 1-3 since, it might have something to do with it. Now that we've discussed this trade, now we have the biggest trade rape of all. And yes, I said trade rape. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to upload it, and we're going to just fucking discuss the hell out of the trade that Justin and Jared made. And now for the worst trade of the year, involving Justin sending Big Ben and Michael Bush to Fichter for Adrian Peterson. Now, looking at the points, since week 5 when the trade took place, Big Ben has put up points for 13, 17, and 13 for a total of 43 points, averaging 14 points a game. Not bad. Michael Bush, however, has put up 6, and then he had a bye week, and then a 4, total of 10 points, and then within those 2 games then is only averaging a total of 5. That's only 18 points per game on average between the 2 players. However, then you look at Adrian Peterson, who's put up 12, 19, and 23 for a total of 54 points. That's 1 point more than those 2 players combined that Jared got in the trade, which then averages out to the same amount of points of 18. Now, say Fichter decides to just keep Adrian Peterson and play Jay Cutler at quarterback. It then comes out to Cutler scoring 19 points, 0 in week 6 because of a bye, and then 13 in week 7 for a total of 32, which averages out to 16. I can't help but think Jared would have been better off without the trade. If you look real quick, Jared's team without the trade is averaging 34 points between Adrian Peterson and Jay Cutler. With the trade, his players are only scoring 18. That's a difference of 16 points per game that he's losing, which might explain the lowest league average in the league. It's just a crazy trade. I don't know why he did it, but since the trade, Justin is now 1-2. He was averaging 106 points, and now is averaging 123, a difference of 17. Jared, only because he's gotten lucky, like I mentioned earlier, he's still 2-1. Before the trade, he was averaging 105. Now what is he averaging? 87 points. That's a difference of negative 18. Justin definitely took advantage of the trade, and Jared, I'm sorry, but you got trade raped. And now for the best part of the night, thanks to Will Wetzel's ingenious idea, I present to you the A.E.F.L's Power Rankings. And fellas, I introduce to you the A.E.F.L's Power Rankings. And in first, the top team in the league is Trevor, followed by Barr. Then we have Ben in third, Justin in fourth, Adam fifth, Tyler sixth, me seventh, Tanner eighth, Jared ninth, Will 10th, Brandon 11th, and Dustin, I'm sorry sir, but you're bringing up the rear in 12th. Now, Will and I disagreed a little bit. He thought Ethan had a more solid team and should be first. However, I disagreed, and I'm keeping Trevor in first, and here's why. He has single-handedly, easily scored the most points in the league. Now, you might cry foul here at the fact that the team's playing him has only scored a total of 590 points. That's not even close to anyone else. But then you throw in the fact that also, if you take the most points scored against, which Edward has 873, that's only a difference of about 20 points, and that's being more than drastic. And then on top of that, Trevor's also obviously scoring the most points per game at 123. So I kept him at first there. I kept Barr at second, not because, Ben, you're scoring a grand total of 819 points, averaging 117, but Barr has the better record, therefore I put him ahead of you. And then it's Ben. Justin's been on a roll since the trade, like I mentioned. Adam's up there with the most points scored, 780, followed by Tyler, who has 776. Then I ranked me and Tanner, even though we're both scoring 110, I ranked me ahead just due to the fact that I've scored more points and I'm league commissioner and I do what I want. Now, real quick, I'm going to pause this real quick and come on the screen, and I'm back going into the rest of all this, then followed by Tanner. I have Jared. Jared, you're 5-2, you're second in the division, but I have to rank you ninth. You're not even averaging 100 points a game. There's no way that I can rank you above anyone else. You're lucky I even ranked you 9th. I only put you 9th because of your record. Will, who I believe has definitely a more solid team, I ranked him right behind you just due to the fact of the records. And then you have Brandon, who only has 1 win and only averaging 99 points. I'm sorry, he has 2 wins. That's why I put him ahead of Dustin. Even though he's averaging 99 points, he goes ahead of Dustin just due to the fact that he has 1 more win. Dustin, if you're able to get 1 more win and tie Brandon, we'll move you up the rankings. We'll update these by within every week, and we'll go from there. But fellas, I can't wait to see you tomorrow, as I'll see most of you at Brandon and Brittany's thing. Can't wait to argue some more. But until then, I hope you enjoyed everything, digest all the information, realize how much your team sucks, and let's make some trades, let's make some moves. I don't give a shit. But until then, fellas, I'll talk to you later. Fuck you.